Welcome back to Two Rail Fans. As you can see, it looks a little different behind us than it has in the past. So we want to take you guys through some of the things we've been working on in the layout the past couple weeks. Haven't gotten quite as much done as we had hoped, but we are making progress. And with the long weekend from school this weekend, we're hoping to get some more stuff going on the layout. Before we get started on this, though, we recently started a Patreon account. Membership's just $5. It's just to support the channel. Obviously, it takes time and equipment to record videos, film content, and building the layout's not cheap. So if you'd like to support us beyond being a subscriber, just look for the link in the video description. So we're going to start today talking about the backdrop foundation we have down here. And I think what we decided is we are going to use some prints over some of this and kind of blend it into the background color. So we just used some very thin wood and just painted it a kind of a sky blue color. You can see the primer underneath there a little bit in some places. We didn't worry too much about it because we are going to do more painting in place. And we were trying to figure out how we wanted to mount this to the wall without any visible screws. So we ended up using these 3M clips and cutting the clip off and just sticking this to the wall back here because we don't have foam that goes all the way to the wall in this section, although we will have to fill something in. So this is just below the level of the foam over here. And then we used, this is just for a size example because I don't have any left, the 3M Velcro strips to get that to stick to the wall. The permanent things we may we may fasten with screws later. But for example, this section right here is over a window. So we need that to be able to be removed if necessary. So as of now, every piece is technically removable, although at this point we don't plan on removing it. So you can see we've got a little gap there in the corner, and we'll figure out how we fill that in later. And that section right there where there's some white, we had some tape up there holding that in place. One of the things we noticed is as we painted these boards in a different location and then mounted them. They warped a tiny bit, so we had to bring them back to being square. So we had a lot of painter's tape helping to hold this on. So the next thing we want to talk about is the ballasting that we did down here. So glad to have that done. Still doing a little bit of cleanup. For cleanup, usually just take an X-Acto knife and you can go in and clean off the ties or any unwanted ballast and vacuum. So we got most of that done, just kind of doing that a little bit at a time. The other thing we had done, and you can see in this section that I haven't done yet right here, if you recall, we had the tape along here because on the other end we had trouble keeping ballast up here to cover the cork roadbed. So the tape did its job, except this is a little high over here. So what we've had to come in and do, I just take an old file that I don't really use anymore and just kind of file what we want down to get the right profile. You can see like we've done that in this area. I have not done it here yet. And you're good to go from there. So happy with how that worked out. Unfortunately, the tape, when the glue got in there, did rip up some of the paint and the plaster. So I just went back in. I actually used joint compound for this just to touch that up. So we'll come in and give that another base coat along the areas that have the white there currently. And we should be good to go on that as well. So we'll come back in and we'll do the final rock paint detailing as well. So I was happy to hear, David, what did you say you wanted to do in this section right here?
Have no track ties and make it like cement.
Right, so he wants to have concrete in here, which I was happy to hear because initially he didn't want that. So I've seen a lot of different materials used for that effect. And I think what we're going to end up doing is using that same joint compound because I think it's going to be easier to get a smooth effect there, but we'll see. leave a comment if you have a recommended material that you use. I already have the joint compound, which is why I'm likely to use it. So down on the other end of the layout down here, you'll see how far down we went. Down to that point. So we'll have another access piece that goes across the window there, and I may rethink that foam pull out completely that's there as well. But we got a flat. You want to hold that flat up there, David? I want to say Pittsburgh Train Fanatic. I'll correct myself if that's incorrect. But it has 4 LED lights on it, and that is going to be on the back of our backdrop. You want to hold it where it's going to go, David? It's going to go roughly in that location. Obviously, we still have some work to do over in that end of the layout, but we want to get this back part going as well. So that's pretty much our plans for right now. We're going to finish up these projects. Hopefully have an update for you guys soon. And until next time, signing off.